I'm Lila Monroe, 29, and I swear the Hudson Valley looks like it was built to be photographed. The morning fog hangs low over the orchards, and from my apartment in Kingston, you can see the river split the hills like a silver zipper. It's the kind of scene your mom would call storybook. And I guess that's what I wanted. A storybook wedding. A clean slate. A day that said, everything finally worked out. I had the Pinterest boards to prove it. The mood boards. The neat little folders labeled florals and dress and must-haves. The spreadsheets color-coded by madness, and, of course, the planner. Her name was Harmony Quinn. Yes, that's her real name. And no, it didn't raise red flags because her Instagram looked like the Met Gala married a farm-to-table brunch. Soft pastels, laughing brides, a champagne pyramid catching sunset like stained glass. The comments were all heart eye emojis, and Harmony, you killed it again. I wanted killed it. I wanted again. We met in a cafe in Woodstock in late spring. She slipped in, late but glowing, with a blush suit and a notebook that matched. She said my name like we'd known each other forever. Lila, oh my God, you look exactly like the mood board I made you in my head. Flattering. Disarming. A professional hug. I'd brought my binder, yes, I'm that girl, and she flicked through it like a magician with a deck of cards, nodding at each tab, offering quick fixes and faster promises. I can get you Mount Beacon Farm on a Saturday, even though they're booked out. Don't worry, the owner owes me a favor. We can do locally foraged flowers. It's a thing now. You'll be a thing too. And you know I'll handle the vendors, the permits, the last minute my cousin is allergic to peonies emergencies. You'll just show up and glow. Her retainer was steep, like I could have bought a small car steep, but I told myself it was an investment in my sanity. My fiancé, Rowan, hated the wedding industrial complex, but loved me enough to say, if she buys us peace, do it. So I did it. I wired the retainer, signed the contract, and exhaled like I'd been underwater for years. The first week felt like sunshine. Harmony shared a Trello board that made my Virgo brain purr. Color blocks, neatly stacked tasks, due dates that felt achievable. A vendor list appeared as if by spell: DJ, caterer, lighting, even an artisan who made monogrammed beeswax candles. I'd wake up to emails that began, "No worries, I got this." We did a tasting, we did a site visit. I stood under the old oaks at the venue and pictured fairy lights like constellations, the clink of china, my dad crying behind sunglasses, even though he swore he wouldn't. I'm not a princess girl, I'm a let's make the pie ourselves girl, but I let myself want the aisle, the dress, the laugh that starts in your ribs and spills everywhere. 2 weeks before the wedding, Harmony stopped answering. And not in a busy week way. In a void. Email? Nothing. Text? Blue bubbles floating into the abyss. Call? Voicemail in 3 rings. I rationalized. People have lives. People get sick. People have emergencies involving peonies. I left polite messages. Hey, it's Lila, just checking in about the tent permits and the bus schedule for my aunt who refuses to drive after sundown. No rush. No reply. 3 days out. Panic shoved politeness into a closet. I called the venue. Can you confirm the final payment posted? Silence. Then, we never received payment from your planner. We sent a reminder 2 weeks ago. We assumed it was being handled. My throat did that hot, tight thing grief does on its way to rage. I called the caterer, the DJ, the lighting company. Each call was a peeling sticker that left adhesive behind. Nothing was booked. Not one vendor had been paid. Harmony's company, Beneath the Bower Events, had sent inquiry emails, warned me about how vendors hold dates loosely, and then apparently held onto my money like a dragon with a pretty hoard. I sat on my kitchen floor with my laptop open and my binder splayed like a butterfly surgery, and I felt my heart ricochet between my ribs. Rowan knelt beside me. "We'll fix it," he said, and I believed him because he says everything like a vow. We called my parents. We called his parents. Everyone shifted from guest to crew. My best friend, Sarah, printed menus at her office like a thief in a heist movie. My cousin, who bartends weddings on weekends, rounded up friends with black aprons and good senses of humor. The florist at the co-op wasn't foraged, but she drove roses from a wholesaler 2 counties over and arranged them on my mom's kitchen table while my aunt sobbed into a roll of ribbon and called her an angel. 16 hours before the wedding, the tent finally rose like a lung filling with air. It wasn't the Met Gala. But when I walked down the aisle, the light showed up anyway. The vows held. The music found us. We ate under the oaks in paper-thin late summer dusk, and my dad cried behind his sunglasses. We danced on a floor more hope than wood. It was beautiful because we refused to let it be stolen. That should be the end, right? Disaster, saved by love, roll credits. Except no. The morning after cake for breakfast, and the square bruise on my shoulder from too many hugs, I did what you do in 2025 when your trust gets chewed up and spit out by someone with a perfect grid. I opened Instagram. There she was. Harmony. Fresh post. Carousel. The first photo was me, mid-laugh. Confetti in my hair like galaxy dust. The second was our cake, shot so tight it looked like porcelain. The third, my dad's hand on mine. The gold of his ring catching the last of the light. The caption, another perfect Bower bride. We live for moments like these. Vendors tagged. Number upstate wedding. Number beneath the Bower. Number wife life. I blinked, heart drumming in disbelief. Tagged vendors I had never met took credit for a night they hadn't worked. The venue was tagged with our venue's name spelled wrong. The comments poured in. Harmony, you did it again. Goddess, need to book you for 2026. Something electric and ugly crackled in my chest. I scrolled to her stories. There was a highlight reel, a sped-up montage over a piano track, me walking, sun flares, the tent like an apparition. She had watermarked it with her logo. I never gave her our photos. I never signed a release. Our photographer, Tessa, a friend from college, emailed me the night before with a sneak peek. I looked again at the username. Right there, in tiny type at the bottom corner. At Tessa Kolb photo. She'd been tagged. She hadn't shared. I DM'd Tessa. Did you send Harmony our photos? Her reply came fast, like she'd been waiting. No. She screen recorded my story, cropped my watermark, and reposted. I messaged her to take them down. She left me on read. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Somewhere between the tent and the confetti, I'd given forgiveness an easy path. I'd decided maybe Harmony had a breakdown. Maybe she'd return the money and therapy would fix the rest. But this was different. This wasn't a mistake. This was theft. This was the audacity to not just fail me, but to wear my day like a designer coat. I felt the temperature drop inside me. Not a storm, a winter. I pulled the contract from my binder. It was thick, perforated with clauses meant to make you feel safe. I read every line. There it was. No use of client image without express permission. Deliverables and refunds. Arbitration. I printed it. I printed the bank transfer receipts. I printed her emails with their, "Don't worry, I got this," highlighted like caution tape. I screenshotted the Instagram post and the story and the comments praising her for my family's unpaid labor. I printed those too, because pixels can vanish faster than guilt. Rowan watched me circle the kitchen like a detective in a montage. "What are you doing?" he asked. I looked up with a calm I didn't recognize in my own voice. "I'm documenting." He nodded. "Then what?" I opened my laptop and pulled up the video editor I rarely used outside of travel vlogs. I imported each screenshot. I dragged in a voice recorder app. The red dot waited like an eye. Sarah called. "Lila, don't go nuclear. You just got married. Be happy. Heal." "I will," I said. "But I'm not letting her use my wedding to sell her next lie." I hit record. "Hey, Internet. I'm Lila, and I want to tell you about my wedding planner. Way. And eyes for doing it is. C and day. Ray. And. Ind. My voice cracked on planner, and I left it in. I wanted people to hear the bruise, not the polish. I told the story from coffee shop charm to vanishing acts. I layered my words over the receipts, the unpaid invoices, the contract screenshot that said she wasn't allowed to do the thing she was proudly doing. I added a clip of the tent going up, my mom tying ribbon, my cousin shaking martinis while my aunt yelled, "Left, left, left." I didn't make it vicious. I made it precise. It took 3 hours to cut together a rough first pass. When I finished, my hands were shaking not from rage, but from the adrenaline of stepping into something that felt like power dressed as proof. I posted a teaser to TikTok and scheduled the full video for the next morning. I emailed Harmony, firm and documented. Remove the photos, refund the money, or I publish. I copied myself, my lawyer cousin, and a dead email account I use to track who forwards me. I closed the laptop with a clack that sounded like a door. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail, then my email pinged. Subject line: CASE, and desist defamation. From a law firm I'd never heard of, full of big words and bigger threats, and right at the top, the sentence that made my blood run cold. If you proceed with the publication of defamatory content regarding Miss Pons, Quinn and Beneath the Bower events, we will seek immediate injunctive relief. I stared, heartbeat in my ears. Then there was a knock at my apartment door. 2 sharp raps, not a neighbor's friendly tap. A knock that knew its own importance. I looked at Rowan. He mouthed, "Don't." The knocking came again. And that's when I realized this wasn't just a messy vendor story. It was a machine. And I had just put my hand in the gears. The knocking didn't stop. It came again, deliberate, steady, the kind of knock that says, "I have time, and I'm not going away." Rowan moved first, quiet as he could, and peeked through the peephole. His shoulders tensed. "It's a courier," he whispered. Envelope in hand. Suit. Not a cop, but official. I exhaled slowly. "Okay," I said, though nothing about me felt okay. He cracked the door just enough to speak through the chain. "Yeah?" "Delivery for Miss Lila Monroe," the man said. Smooth, rehearsed. "Signature required." Rowan looked at me. I nodded. He undid the chain, opened the door halfway. The man held out a cream-colored envelope, thick, heavy paper, gold-embossed return address, Kensington and Hale LLP. I signed the tablet with a hand that barely knew how to hold still. The man didn't look at me. Just left, no small talk, no congratulations on the ring he must have seen. Gone as quickly as he'd arrived. Rowan shut the door. I turned the envelope over. My name looked wrong in cursive, too elegant for what I knew was inside. I opened it carefully, like a bomb. The letter was printed on expensive paper, the kind that makes a sound when you turn it. "Dear Miss Monroe, it has come to our attention that you are preparing to disseminate false and defamatory statements about our client, Miss Harmony Quinn, proprietor of Beneath the Bower events." The rest blurred into legalese. Words like damages, misrepresentation, good faith. Malicious. Me. The woman who DIY'd her own wedding to save face from a scammer now being painted as the villain. I felt my pulse in my fingertips. Rowan read over my shoulder. "They're bluffing," he said, voice steady but low. "That's what these letters are for. To scare you into silence." I wanted to believe that. But fear has a way of sticking its claws in your logic. "What if it's not a bluff?" I said. "What if she really has a lawyer? What if I get sued for telling the truth?" He shook his head. "Then we find a bigger truth." He reached for my hand. "You already started this. Don't let her write the ending." I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat on the couch with my laptop, watching Harmony's page like a hawk. She'd posted again. Another carousel, this one featuring a new bride. Same style, boho, beige, perfect sunlight. But something felt off. The comments section, though, was different. Buried beneath the heart emojis, a few had started to turn. "Wait, isn't that the bride from the viral TikTok? Isn't this stolen content? She scammed. Lila Monroe, look it up." Someone had already leaked my teaser clip. It was spreading. I clicked over to YouTube. My video was set to go live at 9 a.m. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number again? I almost didn't answer, but something in me wanted to stop being afraid. Hello? A pause. Then, a woman's voice, smooth, pleasant, too calm. Lila, it's Harmony. My blood iced. How did you get this number? She ignored the question. You're upset. I get it. Weddings are emotional, but you're making a mistake. You stole from me. I curated your experience, she said, as if I were the unreasonable one. You panicked and took control before I could finalize details. It's not my fault you didn't understand the timeline. I almost laughed. The timeline? You vanished for weeks. I was managing another event, she said, voice tight now. But you know how this works. If you post that video, you're not just hurting me, you'll hurt every vendor involved. You'll burn your own name too. My jaw locked. You already burned it. There was a pause, one of those heavy silences that's louder than shouting. Then she said softly, You don't want to see what happens when I'm cornered, Lila. Click. The line went dead. I stared at my reflection in the black screen of my phone. My hands were trembling, but not from fear anymore, from fury. Something inside me hardened. I wasn't just telling my story anymore. I was defending my name. At 9 a.m. sharp, I let the video go live. By noon, it had 200,000 views. By 3 p.m., it had 500,000. The comments section was a wildfire. People were tagging wedding forums, vendor groups, investigative creators, lawyers, screenshots, contracts, personal stories from other brides, women saying, She did this to me too. It turned out Harmony wasn't new to this. She was recycling her scams. Dozens of people started emailing me receipts, proof, stories of canceled venues and ghosted deposits. One message hit me hardest. I worked for her. She owes me 3 months of pay. She's been running the same con up and down the state for years. I DM'd her back. Her name was Shayla, mid-20s, an assistant planner who'd seen the whole operation crumble from the inside. We set up a Zoom call that night. Shayla's camera showed a small apartment, cardboard boxes stacked behind her. She's a genius, she said, bitterly. She books real vendors under fake names, collects deposits, and cancels at the last second. Then she uses stolen photos to prove her events. If anyone catches on, she rebrands under a new company name. My stomach dropped. So, Beneath the Bower isn't her first? Try her fifth. Shayla nodded. And when people threaten to sue, she sends letters. Fake lawyers. Kensington and Hale isn't even real. She made that letterhead herself. I froze. Wait, what? Yeah, Shayla said. I used to design her invoices. I've seen that logo. It's clip art from a business template pack. She prints the letters herself and hires couriers to make them look official. The rage that hit me was cold, precise, and utterly cleansing. I ended the call and went back to my YouTube comments. I pinned a message at the top. If Harmony Quinn or Beneath the Bower has taken your money, email me at the address below. Receipts, welcome. By midnight, I had over 60 messages. By morning, over 200. Someone had to stop her, and if the law wouldn't, the internet would. The next day, a new video appeared on Harmony's account. A tearful selfie, shaky camera, and the words, addressing the false accusations. I watched it 3 times. She called me a confused young woman, claimed I'd misunderstood logistics, and accused me of inciting harassment. She even showed screenshots cropped, selective, weaponized. The comments were divided, half supportive, half furious. Then, halfway through the video, she dropped the kicker. I've contacted my lawyer, and we're filing a defamation suit. Please respect my privacy. Complic. It would have been convincing if she hadn't accidentally left the fake law firm's letterhead visible in the reflection of her laptop screen. And people noticed. The comments lit up like fireworks. Did she just expose her own fake lawyer? Zoom in at 2:41, same logo from the template pack. Girl, you played yourself. By noon, the video was deleted. By 2, her entire Instagram account was gone. By 4, her website was offline. But the story had already outgrown her. Every wedding forum, every subreddit, every gossip channel was covering it. Number Bower Bride trended for 2 days straight. The messages in my inbox changed tone from outrage to gratitude. People thanked me. Strangers sent coffee money. A few even offered to help me build a case. For the first time since my wedding, I felt lighter. Not healed, not yet, but vindicated. Then, just when the dust began to settle, I got an email. No subject. No sender name. Just one line. You think you've won, but you haven't seen what I have on you. There was an attachment. A video file. And the thumbnail was my wedding. Me. Standing under the oaks. But this time, the angle was wrong, like it was filmed from somewhere I didn't know a camera existed. My stomach dropped. Who had been filming us? I stared at that email for a full minute, not moving, not breathing, just watching the little gray attachment icon blink like a heartbeat. The subject line was still blank, as if the message itself refused to name what it was. Rowan came out of the kitchen with 2 mugs of coffee. "Morning," he said, then stopped when he saw my face. "What's wrong?" I turned the screen toward him. He squinted. "Who sent it?" "It nated exter tas palm. No name. No address." I hovered over the video file. It was labeled simply, "Wedding. Footage. Final. MP4. Rowan frowned. "Final? You never labeled anything that way." I shook my head. "Tessa always names files with the date. This isn't hers." He looked at me for a long moment. "Don't open it." "I have to." I clicked play. The video began with a flicker of static old-school VHS static, which didn't make sense. Then, the image steadied. The angle was low, wide, hidden. It faced the clearing where we got married, but from behind the ceremony arch, tucked under the oak branches. The audio was distant but clear. You could hear laughter, my dad saying, "You look like your mother did," the rustle of dresses. It was our wedding but filmed like a spy. Then, the camera zoomed. Not on me. On the gift table, it followed each card box, each envelope, even the catering team setting up trays. Then, at one point, the lens caught a woman in a blush suit, moving through the background harmony, holding her phone, filming me. I froze the frame. The timestamp read, August 12, 3:14 p.m. That was during the ceremony. She wasn't supposed to be there. Rowan whispered. She came to our wedding. I rewound the video. Watched her again. She looked completely at ease, weaving between guests like she belonged, smiling when people turned her way. She wasn't hiding because no one knew who she was. And then I saw it. She stopped near the tent post, pulled something small from her purse, crouched, and placed it behind the potted ferns. I zoomed in, pixel by pixel. It was black, rectangular, a tiny lens glinting under the leaves, a hidden camera. I felt cold all over. She recorded us. Rowan's voice was tight. For what? I didn't have an answer, but I had a feeling this was no accident. Harmony wasn't finished. She was documenting. I called Tessa immediately. She picked up on the second ring, breathless. "Hey! I was just editing your highlight reel." "Wait, you sound weird. What's going on?" I explained everything. The email, the hidden camera, Harmony at the wedding. There was a long silence. "Lila," she said quietly, "I think I might know where that footage came from." "What do you mean?" "I used an external drive to back up your raw files before I sent your previews," she said. 2 days later, that drive went missing from my studio. My heart stopped. "You think she took it?" "I don't know, but Harmony came by that week. Said she was verifying content ownership for her portfolio. I didn't think much of it, she looked so official. Said she just needed to check the file metadata." "Tessa. I'm sorry, Lila. I swear I didn't know." I closed my eyes. I wanted to be angry, but the truth was, it wasn't her fault. Harmony had been doing this for years. She knew how to look legitimate, how to use charm like a master key. Rowan put his arm around me. "We need to take this to someone." But who? The police? The FBI? A lawyer who wouldn't laugh at a wedding planner stole my footage and filmed me through a bush? That night, I started digging. Every name Harmony had used. Every alias tied to Beneath the Bower, The trail wound through 5 different business licenses across New York and New Jersey. All inactive. Different names, same addresses. Always ending with dissolved LLCs and angry Yelp reviews that had been flagged for privacy concerns. Then I found something new. A LinkedIn profile. H. Quinn Brand Consultant. Authentic Moments Media. Same photo. Same pink suit. And listed under clients? 3 luxury resorts and a national bridal magazine. Oh my God, I whispered. She's still working. Just under a new name. Rowan leaned over my shoulder. Then, we expose her again. I nodded. But this time, I knew it couldn't just be another video. Harmony had already started playing dirty emails, fake lawyers, now surveillance footage. If I wanted to end this, I'd have to dig deeper. Find the pattern. The proof no one could ignore. That's when I remembered Shayla, the assistant who'd worked for her. I emailed her. Did Harmony ever record her clients without permission? The reply came fast. Yes, every wedding. She said it was for marketing reels, but she kept the drives herself. I found a folder once labeled Archive, hundreds of clips. No consent forms. She sold them to ad agencies as stock content. My hands went cold. She wasn't just scamming brides for money. She was selling their lives. 2 nights later, I got another email. Different address this time. Gmail. Subject line. You don't understand who you're dealing with. I almost deleted it until I saw the attachment. A video thumbnail of me and Rowan on the dance floor. Against my better judgment, I clicked. The same hidden camera footage. But edited this time with overlays of our names, captions, even a voiceover. Lila Monroe, client #47, documented August 12. My chest tightened. There was more. A cut to a different couple, different wedding, same camera angle, same captioning style. Elena and Mason, client #28, then another. Ava and Brian, client #32. Each couple smiling, unaware, private moments captured without consent. And over the footage, Harmony's voice. Everyone thinks a wedding is a love story, but really, it's content. And content belongs to the creator. I slammed my laptop shut. Rowan grabbed his phone. That's it. We're going to the police. The Kingston Police Department is small. The kind of place where the officer behind the desk recognizes you from the farmer's market. We explained everything: fraud, hidden cameras, stolen footage. The officer, a middle-aged man with a coffee stain on his paperwork, nodded slowly. This woman's got a history, he said. We've had complaints, none of them stuck. Always out of jurisdiction, always just enough legal gray area. But this? He tapped the printout of the video screenshot. This is surveillance. This is criminal. He took our statement, collected copies of the emails, the footage, the fake cease and desist. Then he said something that chilled me. Don't post about this yet. Let us move first. If she knows we're investigating, she'll vanish. I nodded, even though every instinct in me screamed to warn people. That night, I put my phone on silent for the first time in days. Rowan made dinner. We tried to talk about normal things, but my mind kept drifting back to that voice in the video. Content belongs to the creator. What if she still thought she owned mine? At 2:17 a.m., I woke up to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. A notification from YouTube. Your video, "My wedding planner scammed me," has been taken down for copyright infringement. I sat up, heart racing. Another notification? Then, another. Instagram removed for intellectual property violation. TikTok temporarily suspended. Harmony had filed copyright claims. On my own wedding, she was erasing me, piece by piece. Rowan woke to the sound of my gasp. What is it? I handed him the phone, voice shaking. She's claiming she owns the footage. He scrolled, jaw tightening. Then we fight back. But before either of us could move, my laptop pinged with a new notification, an automatic alert from my Google Drive. New user added to shared folder. h.quinn@authenticmomentsmedia.com. Somehow, she'd accessed my files, and inside that folder were the originals. Every photo, every video, every private moment. I clicked into the folder. One by one, the files started disappearing. Rowan shouted. Lila! She's wiping them. I scrambled to stop the sync, to unplug the Wi-Fi, to do something, but it was too late. Everything was gone. Every trace of our wedding, our proof, our story. And right before the last file vanished, a new one appeared in its place. Just a single image, a screenshot of my face from my last video, smiling under the caption, "Mine now." When I saw those words, "mine now," I felt something inside me break. It wasn't anger, not even fear. It was the hollow, dizzy disbelief of realizing someone had just stolen not money, not photos, but the very story of your life. Rowan stood behind me, watching the screen. "Unplug the router," he said, voice tight. I yanked the cord from the wall, the Wi-Fi icon vanishing like a heartbeat going flat, but it was already too late. My drive folder was empty. Every photo, every edit, every memory, gone. I sat back in the chair, numb. The clock on the microwave blinked 2:23 a.m. in cold blue digits. Somewhere outside, a freight train moaned its low, haunting whistle, like the world reminding me it didn't care about my personal apocalypse. Rowan put a hand on my shoulder. "We backed up the originals, right?" I shook my head. I didn't. I thought Drive was the backup." He exhaled sharply, pacing. Okay, that's fine. Tessa has copies." But even as he said it, my phone buzzed again, a text from Tessa. "Lila, all my external drives just corrupted. Every client file is gone. It's like they wiped themselves." She added a photo, a screen full of gibberish file names and red error messages. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just me. Harmony wasn't deleting evidence. She was erasing witnesses. By sunrise, my channels were gone. YouTube, terminated for copyright violation. Instagram, account suspended. TikTok, content removed due to DMCA claim by Authentic Moments Media. Even my email had a new security alert, suspicious login attempt from Brooklyn, NY. Every platform, every login, every trace of my voice systematically silenced. I wasn't angry anymore. I was terrified. Rowan brewed coffee we didn't drink. He paced while I sat at the table, trying to remember how to breathe. "She's not human," I muttered. "She's a ghost in a pink suit." He stopped pacing. "Then we find the body behind the ghost." We went to the police again that morning. Detective Alvarez met us in a side office. Gray suit, gray hair, eyes that didn't waste time. "She's escalating," he said after skimming my notes. "And she's good. These copyright claims? She's using a shell company with forged digital signatures. Could take weeks to untangle." "She wiped our evidence," Rowan said. "The photos, the contracts, everything." "Not everything," Alvarez said, leaning forward. "You printed hard copies. You said that in your statement." I blinked. "Yeah, I still have them." "Then that's your anchor," he said. "Digital can vanish, paper can't." He took a deep breath. "But, Lila, we found something you should see." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside was a printed record of business filings, tax IDs, and a photo that made my pulse spike. Harmony, but not as I knew her. Different hair, darker, shorter. Different name, Morgan Hale. The same Hale from the fake law firm. Alvarez nodded grimly. "She's been using aliases for a decade. Fraud, false identity, interstate wire theft. The issue is, she keeps moving just before anyone gets a warrant." I stared at the paper. "So, she's done this to others? Over 20 reported cases, but you're the first one with proof, real documentation, visible evidence, a timeline. That's why she's targeting you. She's trying to delete me." "Exactly. She wants to rewrite the narrative before it reaches court." I looked down at the printed photos of my wedding. Thank God I'd made copies, and for the first time, I realized this wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was survival. That night, I reopened my vlogging camera, the same one I'd used for my original video. I set it on the counter, pressed record, and spoke into the lens, like I was confessing to someone who might not believe me. "Hi, it's Lila. If you're watching this, Something happened to me. The words felt dramatic, even paranoid. But true paranoia doesn't sound crazy when it's earned. I told the camera everything: names, dates, the footage, the deleted files. I held up the printed contract and her fake cease and desist. I even read the quote from her voiceover: "Content belongs to the creator." Then I saved the recording on an SD card, labeled it "Insurance," and hid it inside an empty cereal box in the pantry. Rowan watched me from the doorway. "You're turning this into a war." I looked up. She already did. 2 days passed. Nothing. No new emails, no texts, no knocks. Silence, thick and unnatural. Then, one afternoon, my phone lit up with a call from an unknown number. Again. Rowan tensed. But I answered anyway. "Lila," a voice said softly, not Harmony's, younger, trembling. "Who is this?" "It's Shayla," she said, the ex-assistant. "You need to listen. I think she's coming for you." My heart stuttered. "What?" "She knows you went to the police. Someone at the courthouse tipped her off. She's leaving the state tonight. But before she goes, she said she wanted to collect her property." I swallowed hard. "What property?" "She means the prints, Lila. The ones you showed in your video." "How would she?" "Because she still has someone inside the department. She always does." The line crackled. "I'm sending you an address. It's where she's been working under her new name. There's a storage unit. Number 38. That's where she keeps everything." "Everything?" "All the stolen footage. Every bride. Every file. If you want proof, that's it." Then the line went dead. Rowan grabbed his keys. "We're not going there alone." "I'm not waiting for a warrant," I said. "If she's leaving tonight, it's now or never." The drive to the storage facility was 30 miles north, tucked in the woods outside Rhinebeck. It was the kind of place people use to hide furniture or secrets. The sign out front said Greenway Storage in faded green letters. We pulled up just after sunset, headlights carving long shadows over rows of corrugated metal doors. Unit 38 was halfway down the second row. My pulse was a drumbeat. Rowan killed the engine. "If this goes sideways." "I know," I said. "We leave." But I didn't move to leave. I walked up to the unit. The lock was digital, keypad style. I remembered Harmony bragging once in an email about how real professionals never forget a pattern. I tried her old company password, the one from the planning invoices. Bauer 2024. The green light blinked. The door groaned open. Inside, it smelled of cedar and metal. Rows of shelving units, boxes, hard drives, cameras, flashcards, 1,000 lives bottled in plastic and steel. Rowan picked up a labeled case. "Lila, look," written in neat handwriting. #47 Monroe Wedding. I opened it. Inside were hard drives, receipts, memory cards, and a small folder of printed screenshots. My face on every page. Candid moments. Crying. Laughing. Dancing. And beneath them a single sticky note in pink ink. "You told the story wrong." I felt my throat tighten. "She's documenting me, documenting her," I whispered, "like it's all part of her show." Then, from behind us, a soft click. A footstep. Rowan turned. His flashlight beam hit the far end of the unit, someone standing just inside the doorway. Harmony. Same blush suit. Same calm smile. Only now, she wasn't holding a notebook. She was holding a phone, recording. "Keep rolling," she said sweetly. "This is good content." For a second, no one moved. The camera light painted her face ghostly white in the dark. I swallowed. "You broke into my life, Harmony. You stole from me. From everyone." She tilted her head. "You don't understand, Lila. You made me famous. I owe you for that. But fame needs conflict." Her phone's camera lens glimmered. "You're my conflict." Rowan took a step forward. "Put the phone down." She smiled wider. "You can't stop a story once it starts." Then she hit post. And somewhere out there, thousands of phones lit up with the notification. "Live. My bride's breakdown. The truth behind the viral lie." Rowan lunged first. "Put it down, Harmony." But she was already backing toward the open door, phone raised. recording in portrait mode, that serene influencer smile frozen on her face. I could see the red dot blinking. She was streaming. The sound of her voice filled the storage unit, amplified by the echo of metal walls. "Hey everyone," she said, calm and breathy. "I'm here at my storage space. And guess who just broke in? The woman who's been defaming me online, the so-called bride, who made up an entire scam for clicks." Her lens turned to me. My face flashed across her phone screen, my hair frizzed, eyes wide, adrenaline burning through exhaustion. The perfect unhinged woman image. I stepped back, hands shaking. "You stole my wedding, my money, my memories." Harmony laughed, the sound sharp enough to hurt. "Oh, she's spiraling," she said to the live audience. "I told everyone this would happen. Poor Lila, so obsessed with her own story she thinks everyone's out to get her." The comment feed on her screen moved like wildfire. I couldn't see it clearly, but I caught glimpses of phrases. "Wait, isn't that the scammer bride? She's crazy. Harmony, queen energy." My pulse roared in my ears. It wasn't just her recording me, it was millions watching, real time, rewriting the truth as it happened. Rowan stepped between us, voice low. "End the live, Harmony, right now." She tilted her head, amused. "You're the husband, right? Always the voice of reason. Too bad she doesn't listen." He took another step. She retreated, foot catching a loose wire near the threshold. The phone wobbled, image jerking. Then her tone shifted, quieter, darker. "You could have let it go, Lila. I would have refunded you, given you credit. But you had to make it a spectacle." "You made it a scam," I snapped. "And now you're filming me again." She cut me off. "Everyone films everything, sweetheart. That's what authenticity is. You said you wanted your story told. I'm just telling it better." The calm in her voice scared me more than shouting ever could. Rowan reached for the phone. Harmony jerked back, but not fast enough. His hand hit hers. The phone flew from her grip, clattering against the concrete floor. For one insane heartbeat, the live stream showed nothing but ceiling beams and frantic footsteps. Then, the feed went black. Silence. Harmony's smile vanished. She straightened slowly, breathing hard. "Do you have any idea what you've just done?" "You mean stopped your little circus?" Rowan said. Her eyes flicked between us, calculating. Then she whispered, "That footage was my leverage." "What footage?" I asked. "You think I only filmed weddings?" she said. "I filmed clients' private meetings, rehearsals, tastings, everything. You're not the only one with something to lose if this goes public." The implication hit me like a slap. She wasn't just a scammer, she was a blackmailer. Rowan kicked her phone toward me. "Grab it, call Alvarez." I bent down, scooped it up. The screen was cracked but still lit. Her live had ended, but notifications were exploding. 3.4 Kelvin's viewers, 7.8 Kelvin's comments, 500 shares. Too late. The world had already seen it. Harmony noticed the numbers too. A small, satisfied smile returned to her face. "Even when I lose," she murmured, "I win." I was done being scared. I pulled the contract out of my bag, the original one, still crinkled from 1,000 rereads, and held it up. "You filmed us without consent. You took payment for unrendered services. You faked legal documents. I've got proof in print. Real evidence." Harmony didn't move. Then she whispered, "And what happens when that proof disappears?" Before I could react, she turned and bolted. "Hey!" Rowan ran after her, but she was fast darting between storage rows like she'd memorized every corner. By the time we reached the gate, her taillights were already vanishing into the trees. I called Alvarez. He picked up immediately. "She was here," I said, breathless. "Harmony. She streamed us live. She has a storage unit full of stolen footage." His tone sharpened. "Stay there. Do not touch anything. We're sending a team." When the police arrived, the live video was already trending on every platform. Number, bride break-in. Number, Harmony vs Lila. Number, wedding scam. Even though the live had been deleted, screen recordings were everywhere. Half the internet thought I'd broken into her business to destroy her property. The other half thought I was exposing a criminal. The gray area was exactly where she thrived. Detective Alvarez cataloged the equipment, box by box, labeling drives for evidence. There's enough here to charge her with data theft, fraud, and wiretapping, he said. But the live stream complicates things. She's spinning it as self-defense. Can't you prove she faked it? Rowan asked. Eventually. But public opinion moves faster than the law. He wasn't wrong. That night, while we drove home, I scrolled through the trending feed. Harmony's face was everywhere. Screenshots, stitched reactions, even podcasts already dissecting the bride scandal. Then I saw a new account, at The Real Harmony Quinn. Verified. Pinned video. What really happened? My truth. I clicked play. She sat in a dimly lit room, wearing a pale sweater, mascara smudged just enough to look human. I've been vilified, she began. A woman destroyed my career with lies, and when I tried to confront her, she broke into my property and attacked me. Cut to clips from the live selectively edited, of course. Me yelling, Rowan stepping forward. Her, trembling and whispering, "Please don't hurt me." The caption read, "For anyone wondering what really happened that night, here's your proof." Over 2 million views in an hour. My phone buzzed non-stop texts, missed calls, hate DMs, people calling me a fraud, a bully, a liar. I put the phone face down. She's winning again. Rowan's knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. Not for long. The next morning, Alvarez called. We raided the unit, found multiple hard drives with other victims' footage. We're working on warrants to seize her accounts. So it's over? I asked. A pause. Not yet. She filed harassment charges against you. What? She's claiming emotional distress, property damage, and trespassing. We'll counter, but what? She's already turned public opinion. If this goes to trial, she'll play the victim. You'll look like a jealous influencer who can't let go. I sat in stunned silence. Harmony had stolen everything. My wedding, my footage, my peace, and now she was stealing the narrative. Rowan reached for my hand. We can't beat her with emotion, he said. We need something she can't fake. That's when I remembered the SD card, the one I'd hidden in the cereal box. The one she didn't know existed. The footage of me documenting everything. I have it, I whispered. The real story, recorded before any of this. Rowan's eyes widened. Then we posted again, everywhere. Not yet. I shook my head. Not like before. This time, we do it right. I opened my laptop, a new one, unconnected to any of my old accounts, and began importing the footage. I added clips of her voiceover from the leaked video, the stolen footage, the time-stamped emails, the cease and desist letter, the moment in the storage unit when she said, "You're my conflict." Then I added one more thing, a voice message Shayla had sent earlier that day, one she'd found buried in her old inbox. Harmony's voice again, recorded months earlier. We don't sell weddings, we sell stories. And if a story needs a villain, I can always make one. By midnight, the video was ready. I uploaded it to a new channel under my real name, Lila Monroe. Verified bride. No filters, no monetization. Just truth. Before I hit publish, Rowan said softly. Once this goes up, there's no going back. I nodded. There's nothing left to go back to. Click. The video went live at 12:01 a.m. Within 10 minutes, it had 50,000 views. Within an hour, 600,000. People started connecting the dots, matching her aliases, tracing her business filings, resurfacing old complaints. The comments turned. She used my photos too. Same logo, different name. She scammed me last year. Finally, someone said it. For the first time in months, the internet was on my side. Then, at 2:17 a.m., an email arrived from an untraceable address. No subject, no text, just one photo attachment. Harmony again, standing in front of my apartment building, holding up her phone, and on the screen, I could see it, my own live feed, from inside my living room. The caption read, "Smile, Lila, you're still on camera." The photo of Harmony outside my building burned into my mind like a brand. Rowan grabbed the phone from my hand. Is that now? I nodded, throat tight. She's here, He crossed the room and looked through the blinds. The street was empty, except for a parked black sedan. The engine wasn't running, but the headlights were faintly glowing like eyes waiting to blink. "Stay away from the window," he said. I backed up until my shoulders hit the wall. My pulse was a metronome. How long had she been watching? How long had she been inside my devices? Then my laptop chimed. Incoming livestream request, at the real Harmony Quinn. My stomach turned. She was trying to go live with me. I slammed it shut, yanking the plug from the outlet. "She's everywhere. It's like she's in the walls." Rowan grabbed his phone, calling Alvarez. "She's outside our building," he said. "Send someone. Now." The detective promised to dispatch a unit immediately, told us to stay put, but Harmony never waited for anyone's timing but her own. 10 minutes later, the power went out. Every light, every hum, every background noise, gone. The only glow came from the streetlights seeping through the blinds. Rowan's voice was calm but tight. "Backup generator should have kicked in," I whispered. She cut it. Then, footsteps in the hallway, slow, unhurried. The creak of old wood under heels. 3 knocks on our door. Rowan motioned for me to stay behind him. "Who is it?" he called out. A pause. Then, her voice smooth, collected, like she was back at that cafe in Woodstock. "Lila, we need to talk. Off camera. One last time." I froze. Rowan shook his head. "Don't say a word." But Harmony kept talking through the door. "I didn't come here to hurt you. I came to give you something." Something slid under the door, a small flash drive, wrapped in pink tissue paper. She waited, then said, "That's your wedding. The original footage. Every file I took. I'm giving it back." I hesitated, staring at it. "Why?" I called through the door. "Why now?" She laughed softly. "Because every story needs a redemption arc, and you've already written mine." The hallway went silent. Then footsteps fading. A door closing somewhere down the corridor. Rowan exhaled. "Don't touch it." I picked up the flash drive anyway. It was warm. We waited until the police arrived, 2 officers, plus Alvarez, looking more exhausted than ever. They swept the hallway, checked the exits, reviewed the building cameras. Nothing. No trace of her. Alvarez gestured to the flash drive. "Don't plug that in. It could be malware. Or worse. We'll process it safely." He took it, bagged it, and left with the other officers. When the door finally shut, Rowan sank onto the couch, rubbing his eyes. "You should have let me handle her." I shook my head. "No. She wanted me to see her. She wanted me to react." I glanced at the blank space where my wedding photos used to hang, at the shelves that once held my old hard drives. Empty. All of it. "She wants control," I said slowly. "But control needs an audience." That's when it hit me. If Harmony's empire was built on illusion, on the performance of power, then maybe it was time to flip the stage lights. The next day, I got a call from Alvarez. "We analyzed the flash drive," he said. "You're going to want to see this." And, at the station, he led me to a computer. The drive had one single folder: Keep, For, Release. Inside were subfolders labeled by numbers, #0 through #52. Each folder was a wedding. Photos, video files, audio clips, all organized, all pristine. Harmony had kept every single event she'd ever hijacked. But there was another file, buried at the bottom: Project Eden. It was a video diary. Harmony, talking directly into a lens, sometimes in her office, sometimes in her car, sometimes in a makeup chair. "I create chaos," she said in one. "People love chaos. They call it authenticity now. You ruin a life, you trend for 3 days, then you build a brand out of the ashes." Alvarez watched me, grim. "This is enough to charge her with fraud, wiretapping, unlawful surveillance, and identity theft." I stared at the paused frame, Harmony's face frozen mid-smile. "Can we make it public?" He hesitated. "Once the warrant's processed, yes. But it'll take time." I nodded. "Then I'll make sure it's ready when it does." That night, I went home and began writing my final video. Not a rant, not a documentary, something quieter. The truth, told cleanly. The title, The final edit. How I took my story back. I filmed in my living room. No filters, no dramatics. I thought revenge meant proving someone wrong, I said into the camera. But it really means remembering who you are after someone tries to erase you. I talked about Harmony, yes, but I also talked about the women she'd hurt, the clients who'd lost savings, the assistants who'd been bullied into silence, and then, at the end, I looked straight into the lens and said, "You can't trademark other people's lives, you can't copyright truth." I uploaded it, scheduled it for release at dawn. Then, I slept for the first time in weeks. When I woke up, my phone was vibrating off the nightstand. The video had gone viral, 10 million views before noon. Every major outlet had picked up the story, the wedding planner scam exposed, Harmony Quinn under federal investigation. Reporters outside the courthouse, victims stepping forward. Her aliases unmasked, her shell companies frozen. It was over, almost. Because one last email waited in my inbox. "You really think this is the ending? You just gave me a bigger audience than ever. XOH. I didn't reply. Instead, I hit forward and sent it to Detective Alvarez. Then I closed my laptop and whispered, "Not this time." 2 months later, the trial began. The courtroom was small, but packed reporters in the back, victims in the front. Harmony sat at the defense table, calm as ever, her signature blush suit traded for a gray blazer. When she caught my eye, she smiled, not hatefully, knowingly, as if to say, "We built this together." I didn't look away. The prosecution laid out the evidence: fake contracts, doctored invoices, surveillance files, the project, Eden Diary. Each revelation stripped another layer from her polished facade until there was nothing left but the person beneath the branding. When my turn came to testify, my legs shook as I walked to the stand. But when I faced the room, I remembered every bride who'd written to me, every message that began with, "I thought I was crazy until I saw your video." So I told it all, every detail, every knock, every lie. And for the first time, Harmony had no camera to spin it. When it was over, she leaned toward her lawyer and whispered something I couldn't hear. Then she looked back at me, still smiling, but this time, it looked like someone wearing a mask too long and forgetting who they were underneath. The verdict came in the next morning. Guilty, fraud, wiretapping, identity theft. 5 years, no parole. When the gavel struck, I didn't cheer. I didn't even cry. I just felt still, like static fading from a radio. 3 weeks later, I posted one last video. The title card was simple: Closure. It opened with old footage the day before my wedding. Me laughing, adjusting my veil, sunlight through apple blossoms. The moment before everything fractured. Then it cut to the courtroom photo: Harmony being led away, expression unreadable. My voice narrated softly, "Sometimes revenge doesn't look like fire. Sometimes it looks like silence, the kind that comes after the truth finally speaks louder than the lie." The screen faded to white. Then, in quiet black text, "To every person who's been rewritten by someone else, this is your reminder. Your story is still yours." I let the video end there. No outro, no hashtags. Life moved on slowly after that. The algorithm forgot me. The headlines shifted. The world went back to its noise. But every once in a while, I still get a message. A bride, a small business owner, someone who was taken advantage of. They always say the same thing: "You helped me get my story back." And every time I read that, I smile. Because that's the real revenge, not destruction. Reclamation. It's autumn again now. The Hudson Valley is gold and red. The air smells like apples and rain. I film sometimes, just for me. Little clips of normal days, coffee, friends, quiet laughter. No edits, no filters. Just life, uncurated. And when people ask if I'd ever do it again, fight that hard, speak that loud, I tell them this: I didn't start a war, I ended one. Then I close the camera and let the world exist without needing to record it. Because for the first time since that day, under the oaks, I don't need proof. I have peace.